I want to bring up just a little bit of guiding, you know, and I can fill in as much detail, but from us now until the full moon in Taurus, Scorpio of May 18th and 19th. And that will be everywhere in the world, but I wanted to show you where it is in Turkey. And it's just a huge opportunity to call in power to our personal and collective lives and waft out blessing. So here we go. I'm gonna experiment with sharing a chart first. Okay, so for the fun of it. Okay, so don't be alarmed, it's just a map. So this is the chart for the full moon in Turkey, but it will be full moon everywhere in the world. So the way astrology works as a real map and a metaphoric map, this is the Earth. Don't worry about all those lines. This is all of us dancing somewhere. This is the line of the horizon. This is east, this is west. But it is a stylized factual map. So we can see, ooh, the sun at 27 Taurus, exactly opposite the moon in spicy sorceress Scorpio. And that degree of the zodiac is the queen of the fairies, gathers magic and returns to the world. No, okay, that's all of us, we can do that. And it's just beautifully potent. There's the sun and Mercury and Taurus, embodied prayers, trine Saturn and Pluto in Capricorn. Many people have said, ooh, 2020, it's the Saturn, Pluto, Jupiter conjunction in Capricorn. And all it is, it says dedication and authenticity are the greatest protections in the world. To add dedication to anything we do, you know, by the and also what I love Banafsheh's exquisite sense of music, because that aspirational yearning of the Middle Eastern music really opens portals of kinship in which we can receive and send forth. And also part of where I feel kin with Banafsheh is as a heretic, meaning heretic was a term of praise in early religion. Boy, those, fill in your name, sure was a great heretic, because it means free thinker. It's not a priesthood, right? And so part of what we're all invited to do in Uranus and Taurus is track everything back to its originating, liberating impulse and dance with that, dance that freedom back into the world. And so for me, dance has been a real thing and then a metaphor, a little latent. And whenever I connect with Banafsheh, I'm like, right, actual dancing, right, what a good thing, embodying this. It's so grounding. But the beauty here, also just the exact full moon, really wonderful. And I'm going to do some other little short thing right now, just our journey from here to there. So again, I'll explain what this is. This is simply where all the planets are now, where they all are now. And it's very fun. I'm going to show you. So it describes who we are on this call, for instance. We go moon in Scorpio, just like the full moon in May. Moon at 15 Scorpio, called one of the four gates of power. The tradition of women throughout time, we don't source power, we invite it. You know, and we invite it by dedicated acts of beauty. This is always true, but increasingly true and effective. You know, so who's here now? You know, what's the description? It goes, ooh, some spicy, sorcerousy women tapping into everything they've ever done to bring it alive. And the moon in Scorpio is trining Neptune, dreams, vision, music. You know, in English, our word to dream comes from an Old English word, draimon, which meant to dream and to make music. Same word. And it reminds us that making music and dancing to music is a way of participating in dreaming the world into being, you know, inviting those things. So for everybody right now, it's kind of, what are our affinities? So this democratic animism, this 7 precious years, science says, you know, we have 12 years to redress complicity and climate chaos, to ameliorate some of the hugeness of the crisis. Astrology says 7 years, but there are things we do that give us more time. because Neptune says, well, do we have enough time? It depends on what kind of time. There's realistic time. We don't have enough time to answer our emails. Then there's Neptunian dream time in the fairy tale where you step through the magic portal into the enchanted woods and hours, days go by and you come back out 5 minutes. Right? So when we engage in ecstatic self-loss or reverie, we enter a timeless world, of great efficacy and potential influence. And we want to cultivate all of these magic skills. And another reason that it delights me to contribute to Banafsheh's event and to experiment with our unfolding cahooting is, I'm part of many, many, many groups. And right now it seems, what are the possibilities with everybody's craft? Craft means power from dedication, to really experimentally engage in actual music, actual magic, to dream the world alive. And that's why I said, it's going to take magic right now, a willingness to cooperate with everything, to protect water, become like water, to protect wolves, become like wolves, this shape-shifting, and so many ways that the dance can do it. I work with a, excuse me, a Qigong astrologer who says, well, if somebody's timid, he teaches them tiger dancing, but this undulating, and in my own journey early into kind of nightclub dancing and then real dancing and then forgetting about it and then real dancing and then now back here, everything was meaningful. The power, the ritualized flirtation, fabulous men-women dances, the exorcism dances that take the dancer down to the ground where she thumps the earth and takes on the demons of the community and transforms them into joy. So even the coins and stuff was about abundance. It all had meaning, tracking it back there. So now what I want to do, and then spiral it back, but spiraling. Right, because in nature, spirals are nature's way of resolving conflict. Whenever conflicting forces come together, spirals ensue. Galaxies, hair patterns, cold milk into hot coffee, hot smoke into evening air, spirals. So the spiral, the Sufi dance, and the fabulous liberating dedication of Banafsheh, because as she says, it's not nightclub performance. It's not, look at me, I'm dancing ecstatically. It's authentic and deep. And it's also, and nor is it the kind of slightly crusty men-only Sufi dancing, which has its merits and then its tourist thing too. But it's like, no, here's women. And as those of you, who are deeply dedicated to the dance, and all of us, it's in all of us somewhere, it's a lot about permission to undulate, our way back into the spiral, into participatory kinship. So what I'm going to do now briefly is a fun thing. Okay, so this is where all the planets are now, and the planets represent living qualities of intelligence that reside within each one of us and connect us to the world. Oh, spicy, creative, disruptive women, animating everything that we've ever done in our journey through life, coming alive now with deep dedication. So now, with a click of my magic mouse, I'm going to put, all right, here's what I've done. So the inside chart is where the planets will be on May 19th, from the perspective of Turkey, right in the middle of our convening. And I should just also say, on the very first day when we meet in Turkey, may it be so, and again, wherever you are, but on May 18th, the moon will be a little earlier. It will be at 19 Scorpio, which I know really well because the Middle Ages men hated that degree. They called it the accursed degree of the accursed sign, because its image is a woman drawing back two dark curtains leading to a sacred pathway. And the Christian monks were like, no, and no, no, we like it. So it's a no priesthood degree. And that's when our week in Turkey begins, going spicy, sorcerousy women coming back in with the capacity, all of our skills. All right, now back to here. So the outer rim is right now, right this minute. It's so cool. Oh, we love pattern tracking. Let me explain, convey my enthusiasm. And the inner circle is the full moon. It's called the Buddha's full moon. It's every spring. It's when the sun is in Taurus, the moon in Scorpio. It's the opening of pathways between the sensual, incarnate, physical, and the spiritual, backstage, you know, ancestral, spirit animal, power eager to come in. Dedicated acts of beauty invite power into the world. So, you know, at that full moon, the point overhead will be 15 Scorpio. And look, right now, the moon, just right now at this moment, is at 15 Scorpio. So we have all of us a direct resonance, a kind of energetic line, you know, from now to this full moon. And it's called the Buddha's full moon. It's when the Buddha was born and when the Buddha attained enlightenment with his back pressed against the Bodhi tree. Nobody gets enlightened without trees, without nature, without kinship. So we have these 7 years to engage in, you know, humans humbly cooperating with nature's guiding genius in myriad forms of biomimicry. But the dance, I think, is part of it. And then just one other little thing I want to bring into play here. I will say it, but it's a time of great magic, great dedication, great power, you know, and the dance really loves us to invite this in and to waft it out. And I have complete trust in the fabulous feast that Banafsheh always has presented for us for music. It's so delicious to go, ah, and that sense again of the music and the yearning does open these doors to kinship, to embrace, because we're all in this dream together. We're all parts of each other. So that's our mini fast tour. But it is a glorious. It is starting today. Starting today, no matter what, this is a powerful time. What we say, think, write in our journals. This powerful time of dedication. You know, our deepest. Let's see. The moon says to all of us: imagine that the deepest, most crucial, spicy, previously exiled part of each one of us is about to be welcome. You know, and again, as Banafsheh guides us, that kind of expansive unfolding and like, whoosh. So for all of us, it wants to be a relief. You know, there are terrible places and inquisitions ongoing, but in a fundamental way, the inquisition is over, right? And it's like, wow. So there we have it for now, Banafsheh.
Wow, thank you so much, Caroline. That was amazing. And so many parallels with what we will be doing and what the dance is about, right?
Yeah.
Amazing calling in magic through dedicated acts of beauty. I love the way you put that, and that's totally what we're dedicated to in dance, and cooperating with nature's genius. Such beautiful images. That's really true, everyone. Whoever has participated in this dance, you know that we take all the metaphors and make them real. We take them all literally and give them shape in the real world. Caroline was sharing with us that where we will be convening is an Asclepian site. And Carolyn has opened this up for me. She has told me how the Asclepian sites, these centers, these temples that were in Greece and Rome, Turkey, right, Caroline?
Yeah.
So in these places, people would convene and they would do dreaming and visioning and receive healing through their visioning and dreaming, only if they enacted their dreams through art, through dance, through theater, painting, whatever the artistic expression was. And they would have the power of their vision through giving it expression by one of these art forms. And they would go back into their villages or towns and be seed Renaissance people, right, Caroline?
Yes, that's beautiful. And then just for the fun of it, yes, to amplify that. So it's wheel and deal. It's democratic animism with things, and so just as you say, and it's strong. So the Asclepions, places of intentional dreaming, and again, the wheel and deal was, if you send me a healing dream, I will dance it, or paint it, or write it, and thereby have its power. So that's the agreement, right? And everything's here because, you know, Chiron, little asteroid, little planetoid that founded the Asclepions, goes, well, I'm here. Is there a dreaming? And we go, yes, it's all about Neptune dreaming and dancing. Is there a Saturn? Yes, yes. The images, the metaphors want to incarnate. Is there a passionate expressiveness? And we go, yes, spicy women are eager to express. And Chiron goes, very well, the band's back together. The whole team's here. You know, let the myth become real.
Yes, and what you also shared with me when we had our conversation is that this kind of dreaming, this intentional dreaming, is for the individual and also for the collective. So we're very dedicated to let our dance be a bringing in of healing for ourselves and for the world, you know, both specific, you know, specific healing for specific situations, but also for the general, for the bigger collective, and coming into harmony with nature's genius, as Caroline puts it so beautifully. So the site, everyone, is, we discovered, is an Asclepian site where we will be staying. So we have the power over already of the location. And then also, obviously, in the skies also, we are supported with the guiding story that Caroline shared. And already our dance is about that. It's about how can I be a channel for what needs to come into the world through me? How can I surrender my ego and be in service of the greater good, and especially through acts of beauty, especially through dedicated acts of beauty. And this is, yes, tell us.
Right. Well, and then see the description also is, you know, cooperators are standing by, all spicy, creative, defiant, luscious women in our bloodline, fairy tales, history. And so when you were speaking about, again, this great place where we stay, it's in Asclepium with a hammam, but Queen Zenobia, who brought Palmyra and Syria to its height, you know, again, in terms of dance performances and theater and on the Silk Road and whatever. So where I loved her and where we can invite her too, is that when she became queen, she moved her, where she received dignitaries, to the bathhouses, where there was a warm pool and a cool pool. And it's like, what? That's how women lead? Yes, we start in the bathhouses. So that's also why I love what you've selected for us, these delicious steaming bath places. Oh.
Yes. You know, what Caroline is talking about is the location is sitting on these natural hot water springs, boiling hot. They actually have to cool it down. It's so boiling. And the water is very healing. And it's very, very special that we dance and soak, whirl and soak, share and soak. So at all times, we can go into these pools that are just luscious and amazing. And a beautiful balance between the dancing and the whirling and soaking in the pools. And using the hammam, the Turkish hammam on site is also very lovely and just luscious. And another key image that Caroline brings up is this wildness that definitely we tune into with the dance, a kind of noble wildness, because it's a wildness where we feel unbounded, but at the same time very respectful and very loving. So bringing together the two, nobility and wildness. This is part of what we're dedicated to. And bringing liberation that way, where our wildness isn't also at the detriment of something else, but in cooperation, as Caroline puts it. So this, yeah, tell us more, Caroline.
Well, no, what you were saying, I love co-riffing. Excuse me. But yeah, so it's disciplined wildness and not an oxymoron. What we call wild nature is incredibly disciplined. Wolves are incredibly disciplined. And all creatures that I know of dance, you know, the dogs, the coyotes, the wolves, the thing, the beautiful fish, the whatever. And so, you know, everyone's eager for us humans to step back into the choreography. So disciplined wildness, you know, to become, you know, well, and that's also what you proffer. Banafsheh is a pretty organized person, and that's really great. It's part of your beauty, you know. And so that idea of Saturn and Uranus structures that lead to greater freedom, right? So you're the dedicated focus, and I think it's also part of, you know, you're quickening all these memories and physical memories. So everything, all stories lead us to all stories. But say with the Middle Eastern dance or anything we're learning, at first one's focused on that, and then you get to a point where you are danced, right? And then you focus again, you know, and then you are danced, and it's like, and that's, I think, how it is with everything. And that everything that has a name has a God, you know. And when we're dedicated, you know, it's like I dedicated to astrology pretty early, and then I could feel the click when it's like the backstage gods go, well, she's farted around for a while, but she's, you know, she put in her, so now we'll train her. And I think that's what you, like with you and dance, you know, you go, and then the gods of dance throughout time love you as their ambassador. Does that resonate?
Yeah, yes. I feel very blessed to be the ambassador of dance. But I want to say that even though, you know, we dedicate some time of our day to you know, technique and the guided dance, most of what we do is really open to our own expression. So however the dance comes, however the dance is expressed through your being, through your body, is what I love most. You know, obviously in my tool bag, I have a lot of tools of how to open to your best possible dancing. But ultimately, what I love is to see your own dance unfolding. So we have a real balance of discipline, technique, and also just expression. Letting your dreaming, your visioning be expressed through the movement. Yes.
Yeah, and and a wonderful, one of my favorite things, because the chart describes a time of deep, playful people gathering with the capacity to have liberating solitude, even within the dimensions of the group. It's like solitude with backup, you know, and then community frolicking and fantastic meals and stuff. But Pluto, principle of death and rebirth, the cauldron of intensity, says, out of all collapsing systems, what do we want to ladle forth? And Pluto's image, its degree, is women walking through a field of wild lilies to a place of spiritual dedication. It's like that's how to best navigate. And we go, oh, that's really good. So you've incarnated this perfectly timed event. And again, I like to say to the team, you know, these opportunities are, you know, for all of us. We're all in the dream. I love this particular incarnational opportunity to see, you know, if it resonates. But it is so beautiful again right now, and it is such a precious time. And you know, and also there's, just for the fun of it, it'll be a Venus-Uranus conjunction on May 18th, right the day before the full moon. Venus, beauty in her own sign of, you know, collaborative kinship, right next to Uranus, spark and genius. So for everybody, it goes, where would you like liberating genius? In your body or the world, you know, anyway. So it's just, you know, each moment in time awaits our dedication, but there's so much, all of life is rooting for us, right? Just to step back in.
Step back in, yeah, fully. And so much of the images that Caroline is sharing is literally what we will be doing, walking through the fields of some fields to get to the place where we'd have the dance, which is
that's so true. I forgot.
The
Yeah.
Dargah, which is an amazing place, a site where I've taught for many years, and a site has been extended ceremonies, Sufi ceremonies, especially whirling. So it's a very high vibration place from all the ceremonies that have taken place there. And that's where we will be doing our sessions, doing our dancing, whirling, and listening to stories. Caroline's amazing astro-mythological stories, but also Sufi stories and stories from the 1001 Nights that Caroline knows so well and says so beautifully. So we will be doing our sessions there. And for the other thing that Caroline also brought up, a lot of the week has so much space for assimilation and reflection, because it's so important that we do a lot of doing, quote unquote, but also spend a lot of time just being and coming into ourselves with ease, being comfortable in our own skin. You know, when Nurgul, who's also on this call, the organizing priestess of our retreat, when we were discussing what would be the theme this year, we reflected on how during the retreats, people start to look more and more beautiful and they exude more and more beauty. And so we thought, well, let's dedicate this one to radiant beauty. Something happens to people, and I watch that in the workshops that I have in the retreats, and it's something about coming into your own self with ease and just being with what is, in a way that you're dropping the masks and connecting with your essence. And that I think is what contributes to the beauty that radiates. This coming into a place where you feel you don't have to put on a mask. And we so much need that these days, right, Caroline, to just step into who we are, with giving ourselves the permission to step into who we are.
Yeah, and to let mystery find us. I mean, it's such a appropriately uncertain time, you know, and so we're stepping out of the conditioning of the modern world with its addiction to certainty, and we go, certainty is a booby prize, you know, and the backstage divine says, look, these humans have run out of certainty, now mystery can find them. So just as you're saying, you know, to be available to mystery, going, I'm available to mystery. And always again, the feminine Venusian beauty dynamic is, if we don't know what to do, invite in what does, you know, come on in, whatever is best in this situation. And so to be able to practice and embody these spiraling things so that we're agents of cool spiraling response in a hot reactive world, right? So that we're agents of spiraling out of polarity. And this takes body practice. It's why I'm so enthused to come again, to go, right, how do we spiral out of that hot thing, right? And be agents of that and encouraging. So when you were saying wilding, yeah, there's a whole movement of rewilding. There's a beautiful center in the Midwest of America, West Jackson's, where he's rewilding the plants. So he's liberating them back to perennial rather than annual, right? And everything's speaking to us. And so we want to rewild ourselves, you know, to be perennial, not annual. And these big transits are like doing a bazillion years of deconditioning spiritual psychotherapy in about a week. It's like, just to cast off any sneaky constraints. Yeah, and it's great. And the power of having a convivial group really, you know, strengthens the woof. I mean, you know this, when a group of people are dedicated, you can feel it, like, ooh, it's real. Yeah.
So real. And we can do real things together, like really energetically send the prayers that you were saying. This is such a time of magic and invocation, and so collective prayer, and through movement really affecting the environment. I absolutely believe that a big part of dance is that, because we construct invisible architecture in invisible fields with movement and with dance. And when they're intentional, we can truly create more harmony and what we wish for in a focused way as a group. But I would love to, what do you think, Carolyn? I would love for people to ask any questions or any comments for you, for me.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
So you'd have to unmute yourself, everyone. I
right.
This because there was a little bit of noise.
And there's a chat thing that some people are are on. Yes, the Turkish Hammam, and yes, we resolved the muting thing. That's right. It's all pretty good. There we go. But so people can type in the chat too, or offer a conundrum, a query, a blessing. Welcome.
Absolutely. Yeah, and we would love to also hear from people who were with us last year, if they want to say something about what it was like for the other ones who are thinking about it, who are wondering what the the whole event is like.
Ah. Somebody's trying.
Sounds wonderful. Count me in. I'm
Oh,
coming.
good. Who's that?
Yeah.
Me too.
Yay. Oh, that's fun. Oh, goody. Yeah.
70th birthday present.
Oh, look, Kathy Pagano, how adorable. It's so good to see so many great witchy women. Oh, that's so wonderful. It's working. It's really...
This is great. It's so magical. You have laid it all out. It's like, it is. It's going to be amazing.
So what we hope is true really is true. That's why we gather, going, what a relief. Ah, great. Yes, yes, magic's a willingness to dance with everything. There we go. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's that feeling that you had when astrology tapped you on its shoulder.
He was showing the chart for this event that they're doing in Turkey on the full moon in May. And so she had a chart, a composite chart with dates in May on the inner circle and then today's date on the outer circle.
To us or
and there were all these planets that were like right where they're going to be in May. Mostly because they end up going retrograde.
Well, not really.
So they've moved on out towards May, but then they go retrograde, and so they're like all these planets that were lining up, and it almost looked like a picture, you know, of the same day. You know, I mean, there were quite a few ones, but there were so many that were. It was quite striking. I was like, man, I'm looking at this today's chart and May 19th chart, and it's the same chart.
I think, Banafsheh, you might want to mute this person because I think she's speaking to somebody else.
No,
I could be hallucinating.
But she's saying that it was the same chart. Today's chart is the same as what we will be doing in May. Right. Which is what you were talking about.
It is very resonant. It's really wonderful. Because again, we love that we're part of something larger. But yes, does anybody else want to chime in with a conundrum, a query, a blessing?
Hi, Shalom, and Caroline. I'm so happy that you're both merging and doing this again. This year was amazing. Quickly, what it brings. What comes to my mind is that Caroline, you bring this macrocosm of the universe, and the work with Banafsheh is the embodiment to go within. So it's just like the two opposites that's related together. So that makes it so powerful and beautiful. And the night stories were just amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Helen. So good to see you.
Somebody's moving furniture. No, somebody's moving furniture. The aliens are good. There's a lot of good sound effects, right? That's right. And then Beatrice says, how many participants do you anticipate as ideal? What do you think, Banafsheh? How many would we like?
We would like to be 45, so we can be in the entire hotel to ourselves, so we can have the entire place.
Oh, it's such a great place.
Yes.
Oh, it's a palace venue on hot springs, and even in your room, in the bathtub, the water is bubbling hot springs.
Sacred pools.
Yeah.
Sacred pools.
Hi, Banafsheh. I just wanted to say that I'm coming. I got my ticket.
Ooh. I want to know something too. I'm buying my ticket and it says coupon. Are you giving out coupons, or shall I just go and do it?
Coupons? What do you mean? You mean on when you go to register?
On your card.
I think that's just when there is a coupon for something.
Okay, great.
Oh, that's so great, Kathy. And also when you register.
Dancing again in the last 2 months. I just started dancing again in the last 2 months.
That's great. And Kathy Pagano, I've known her since the
80s.
80s, right. And she's a wonderful astrologer and dancer as well. So I didn't even know she was going to be here. And now she's coming. Oh, truly, Trickster is guiding all the right, cool people into the dance. I love that. That's
It's
so
great.
wonderful.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank
I
you
have a
for
question.
having us.
I have a
Wait.
question, please.
Yes.
Yes, would it be advisable for those of us coming from the States to stay a day or two beyond the dance gathering? And yes, I know for sure I'm getting, coming, but now the logistics of when to leave. Any
Right.
suggestions?
Oh, you mean to come before, to come a little bit earlier?
Or
And
to
after.
stay either one on either side. Do you suggest
Well,
a little
both,
extra time?
I
both
do
works.
recommend that, yes. And actually,
Yeah.
most people do that. So that you're not jet lagged when we start. So, you can stay one night maybe before and then stay longer. I know some of the people who've already registered are also wanting to do a trip afterwards.
Right.
Are you on this call? Yeah.
Yeah, she was saying to Ephesus,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I always like to arrive, with 2 days in Istanbul to kind of arrive, and it's so fabulous, and then we all take the ferry to Yalova, and then afterwards, that's right, there's Ephesus, and part of me was thinking of Pergamon, and then there's the turquoise coast, and it's like, oh, we don't know. So yeah, so I like a few days before, and then some days after as a mystery thing.
Yes. And so saying before, there's a hotel in the beautiful area of Sultan Ahmet of Istanbul that I recommend that everyone stay there. I'll put that in the chat here.
Yeah, do.
Yeah. It's a beautiful hotel with a view of the Blue Mosque.
Ah,
Okay.
Yes.
That's good.
Banafsheh, will you have time to tell us a little bit more about the week we are there?
Oh, definitely. Yes. So what we will be, we have 2 sessions a day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, and they're each about 2.5 hours. And in our sessions, I'm just putting in the chat here in our sessions, we will be dancing, and let's start with stretching, meditation, and in the sessions we'll have dancing and whirling to live music, and sharing circles and listening to stories, Caroline stories that are part of what she was already sharing, astro mythology, but also Sufi stories and from the 1001 Nights, stories from that. And in between our sessions, you have time to soak in the hot tub, the hot pools. They're actually swimming, and use the hammam, or go for walks. It's a very, very cool village in a beautiful natural setting. And in the evenings, we sometimes have program in the evenings, listening to Caroline Under the Stars. Those are more spontaneous.
Right, and I think that's also part of the adorable group, which is you have great, disciplined wildness, you have great structure, and then we also get to feel watery with ourselves. When would we like to have our astro guiding or spontaneous or after supper, or so there's structure with it, but there's improv fluidity, like dance. Yeah.
Right. And then the meals are buffet style, amazing Turkish cuisine,
Yes.
sultana for a queen, and very, very healthy and basically accommodating all kinds of diets. So whatever your diet is, it would be good for you to share with us in advance so that we can tell the hotel. Yeah. Basically, that's just the general outline of what we will be doing, but also a lot of spontaneity, especially in the evenings.
Yes.
How many do you have so far, Banafsheh?
So far, we're about 20 so far.
Okay, count me in.
And me too.
And me 3. May I ask, do you have a lot of scarves or do we need to bring our own?
I recommend that you bring your own so that it's a color and a texture that you really relate to. But we will also have some for those of you who won't be able to bring with you. But yeah, I recommend that you choose a color, or be open to what color wants to choose you, and a silk, but they come in different textures. So choose a texture that you feel that you like. Yes.
And then just for the fun of it, some of our beautiful team are in the chat saying, I can think of Jacqueline, I can think of no other group with which I would love to cavort. I'll join in future year when I'm financially able. We go, excellent. And then also just experimental magic now, may there be, a spiraling whirlwind of wherewithal to all who seek to attend in surprising ways that make us bark with laughter, going, ha ha. Just so a blessing to the path may open for the Jacqueline part of ourselves and everybody.
Yes. Yes. But also everyone, the amount, the fee covers everything except for your flight. So it's all the ground transportation and the meals, everything, the accommodations.
Right. And then people typing in going, I'm called to come, and money issues. And I just lost everything. And we go, well, we turn to everybody. We turn to the great Japanese poets who say, since my house burned down, I now have a much better view of the rising moon. Right. And it's, Pluto, a friend says, panic early to avoid the rush. We're all releasing things and making room for new desirable things. So there we go. And and what stories do we want to continue to animate in our personal and collective lives? And what stories do we want to compost? There we go. So waifs no more, but wenches emerging. from waif to wench, I think is one fun direction. Spicy.
There's a question, is there a way to save a spot without having all the money now? Sure, yes. Just send an email. Ronan.
Yeah. Right. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Excellent. Lovely. Yeah, what fun. I toss back to you.
Sales. Yes. Anyone, any questions? Any comments?
Can I ask another question? I dance barefoot. Is this what we're going to do? We don't need like special dance shoes or anything, do we?
It would be good to bring with you soft-soled dance shoes or socks, especially for the whirling. You want to be able to slide a little bit.
Okay, so then do get something. Okay. This is the most concrete I've ever been. I don't know what happened, but I never think to ask questions like this. Okay.
But you have Taurus qualities. Yes, you do.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Venus and Uranus are going to be on my Mars when we're there. I can't wait to be a wild, disciplined woman.
Exactly. That's great. Yeah. So the things that I sent out, as part of enticing to this missive too, but I'm just the Uranus and Taurus, it's wheel and deal time with all beings, bartering backstage for onstage miracles. So it's like, well, starting now, if this, then here's what I'll do. It's a to and fro. If you provide, the path opening to go to Turkey, then I will dedicate to doing such and such a thing. It's all an experiment to reestablish. So there's that. Right.
Someone is asking for the link. I'm going to put that in.
Uh-oh. You can mute everybody, Banafsheh, because now we're seeing somebody moving into their house. That's good. Life continues.
Yeah. And you know what? An idea from a mom of 4 kids who are all grown up. If you have kids that have money, ask them to help you.
There you go.
There you go.
All of my friends tell me that's what kids are for when you get old and you need help.
That's great. Yeah, okay, I'm going to save chat. All right, that's good.
I would like to say something. I am coming. I'm so excited just listening to this and hearing everybody. And Banafsheh, I'm so grateful for you. But Carolyn, I have been watching some of your YouTubes, and I've started to actually say some of your lines like
Uh-oh, you just got muted while you were quoting me. I don't know how that happened. Unmute yourself so you
well,
can...
I have to quote you, my goodness.
Right.
Cooperators are standing by and woof woof want to play. You know, like I so have taken that into my what I do, because we have to start playing. We have to start having that. You know, it's all very heavy right now, and you know, like the trickster and woof woof want to play. I so appreciate that.
Oh, that's great. Well, and also, you know, as we derive, you know, our models, like, you know, humans need good governance. You know, and so I do love the wolf model, because wolves don't operate on dominance, they operate on charisma, which means a charitable heart. And in wolf culture, charisma means who initiates play best. Not just play, let's go hunting, let's go dancing, you know, but play is a very top criterion. And you can tell the alpha wolf within 10 days of birth, because it's the wolf pup with the lowest resting heartbeat. And so I love that, you know, as a model of leadership, going, it's the coolest wolf who engages the playful genius of the pack. And when I hosted this wonderful Turkish woman novelist, Guneli Gun, on radio a long time ago, who wrote a fabulous book on the road to Baghdad, in which Scheherazade is a character. But just as we were ending our radio, she said, you know, in Turkey and the Middle East, pre-Ottoman, pre-Islamic, pre-Abrahamic, the predominant deity was she-wolf. And throughout the Turkey and the Middle East was an azure blue flag emblazoned with an alpha female wolf's head on it. I'm like, really? Let's bring her back. Let's excavate under that and go, come on back, Wolfie, dance through us back in. And when I was in Syria, you know, people were like, yes, it's a folk tale. We seem to remember, right? So all these beautiful things are stirring, you know, they want to assume animistic form, and by each one of our affinity, you know, what do we want to dance into the world? Come on in, she-wolf, and wise, playful governance dedicated to collective well-being, and other fun things.
So thank you so much, everyone, for spending your Sunday morning or afternoon or evening with us. Send us an email if you have questions, and we hope to see all of you in Turkey, and dance until we dance again together. Don't let the wildness wait. We will share together, hopefully this time, and if not this time, at another time. Yes, we need to be a team. We need to come together. The coming together of wild women, women dedicated to beauty and goodness and truth and justice. All of the things that have to be and are most real. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a beautiful rest of your day, evening, and dance until we dance again together.
Thank you.
Thank you.